Hey there, Pisces. It's Keegan. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to talk a little bit here at the beginning of this reading, and I just want to address the people who don't want to listen to me talk for a little bit to explain some stuff. You can skip ahead until you see this overlay that's explaining the spread, go away, and that's when I'm going to actually start the reading. But I do encourage you guys to actually listen to what I'm going to say, because I'm going to explain this reading and give you guys some insight into how it works and some different ways that you can utilize it. So it's going to take me a couple minutes to do that, though. While I'm doing it, I'm going to shuffle and start putting the cards in place so that we can get right into the reading when I'm done. So as you can see, this reading is about the other person. So if you are a Pisces and you've clicked on this, I'm not going to be talking about you. And I'm saying this specifically because as a reader, I tend not to do these styles of readings. Lots of readers on YouTube do what are they thinking, who's approaching you types of readings, very much focused on the other person, giving you insight to the other person. And historically on my channel, I've not done those readings because I think that it's better for me as a reader and for you as someone who's utilizing my readings to give you insight that's most directed towards you as a person. The reason for that is because if I'm telling you about cycles that you're stuck in, things that you might not be aware of, things that you need to focus on or work on or heal, you can actually do something about that. When I'm giving you insight to the other person, there's really nothing that you can do actively about that other than hear the feedback or hear the insight to the person and decide what that means for you. But you can't do anything to change that person or force them to be different than how they are. So historically, I've shied away from doing readings solely focused on the other person. Now, for some reason, I felt compelled that I needed to do this round of readings focused on the other person. So I want to explain to you what that might be, how that might look, how you can utilize this. So if you're in a relationship, obviously the person that you're in the relationship with can be the other person. If you're in a relationship but you're thinking about someone else, or if you're single and you have your focus on someone or you're interested in someone, then that can be your other person. If you're single and you don't currently have an interest in anyone in particular, you can still watch this reading. Just know that it would be insight for you based on who's approaching you next or who the next potential romantic partner coming in might be. So that's how you can utilize this. So as a Pisces, if you've clicked on this, you can watch this reading. Just know I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the other person. If you are actively focused on one particular person and you know their sun sign, you can also go watch that video to get additional insight into them. So for example, if you're a Pisces and you are interested in a Scorpio, then you can go watch the Scorpio reading in addition to this one to get insight into your person. So I'm going to start putting cards down here. I'm just going to go right off the top. I might put one card, I might put two, sometimes I'll put three. I just see what feels natural to me in terms of where to put cards. Okay, I don't know how I feel about that, but 3 cards going into its place for secret. Okay, so I'm going to turn this overlay off. So we're here at the reading now. I do want to give one last disclaimer about these readings. So I'm nearly completed with this series of readings focusing on the other person, and I can tell you that the vast majority of them have been very intense. And they've not necessarily been the most happy-go-lucky, feel-good readings. If you are familiar with me as a reader, then you know that I don't hold back and I don't sugarcoat things and I don't just deliver good news all the time. I actually do read the cards based on what I see and what I feel, and sometimes that information is not necessarily the best news, and these readings have been very intense. So I did want to just give a little bit of disclaimer that if you are not in a situation where emotionally you are able to hear potentially bad news or hear something that you don't want to hear, you might want to save this reading for later because some of the readings have been fairly intense in terms of what's come out about the other person. Now, explanation about how I'm going to actually do this reading. I'm going to start with these 2 sets of cards, which is about who the person is and how they're acting. This gives me initial insight into the person as to whether there's a discrepancy between what they're portraying and who they truly are. Then I'll go to this top row and read those cards, and then this bottom row in case you have something that you're more interested in. I'm going to get some water. Sorry. So before even looking at the cards, I feel like my voice is being affected. And when that happens, when I sit down to read, it usually means that communication is an issue or someone feels that they're not able to express themselves honestly and openly. Hopefully that passes, because I hate when I have to do readings and it's constant like tightness in my throat. So Pisces, I'm going to go ahead and get started on this. I do have an oracle deck here, and I will pull an oracle card for you at the end to give you advice or guidance around this relationship or this connection with this person. I do ask that you start to clear your mind, focus in on what you hope to hear, what insight you want to gain from watching this reading, focus in on your specific questions. I'm tuning into the energy of the people who will eventually watch this video, so you tuning in, even though I've already recorded, it's just forming that connection with me back in the past, because that's how time actually works. So when you're watching this video, I've already tuned into you, so you're just forming that connection to me with your specific questions. Okay, Pisces, let's see what's going on here. Who is this person? So this person, you have the Two of Wands. It's come out upright here. So this person is someone who, they're a planner. They like to actually have a plan. They are someone who really does, it's interesting what I'm getting from them. It's, there's potential here that this person is someone who thinks in black and white. I'm getting that sort of energy from them, that it's a person who they make choices based on thinking them through. They don't make choices based on how they feel. And what's interesting is that I don't feel like this person makes any sort of rash decisions or makes any sort of decisions that they're not certain about. They really do think things through. They look at things, they weigh things out. And then once they know for sure what they feel is best, then they make that choice. And there's someone who also, they feel very open to change. So this person could be someone who has, it could manifest in two ways, because I don't have a ton of insight into them yet, but this could be someone who potentially has lived in a lot of different locations, someone who's had a lot of different types of careers. I do feel very strongly with this person, they've made a lot of choices and decisions that has led them to where they are. And it's someone who, they don't have any sort of, they're not confused about any of those choices, or they don't have any regrets about those choices, because they're someone who really, they think their way through it. It's interesting though, because I do feel a disconnect from like their heart. So what I'm getting energetically about this person is they're very much, they make their decisions through the mind. They don't allow their emotions to really influence them very much. And I think that's just important to state in terms of who they are. Now, how they act, I put two cards down here. Very interesting. So we have the Two of Swords here, which has come out reversed, which is the exact opposite. Okay. And then we have the Seven of Swords reversed as well. I want to talk about the Seven of Swords first. So in terms of how this person acts, yeah, this is confusing. Both of these cards are kind of the opposite of everything that I just said. So I'm trying to think of what to add here to give you insight. This person would be someone that appears to be always unsure, always in a place of indecision, of not really knowing what to do, of being very torn and trying to figure out what's right or what's not in terms of making decisions. That's not who they truly are, though. A lot of this would be for show. I think that this person might be someone who they act like a decision was harder for them or more challenging for them, or that they weren't certain about it, in an attempt to almost soothe people or to keep people from feeling hurt or disappointed. It's something that I feel that they've picked up because I don't think they've always been that way. I think that they got a lot of harsh feedback around potentially coming across as being cold or uncaring in how they make decisions or how they're able to change directions or switch gears. And they've just developed kind of a persona of appearing to struggle with choices much more than they actually do. At their core, they think their way through it and they make up their mind and it's very solid and they don't have a lot of regret. But I feel like they put on a show in terms of presenting much more of a challenge that went into that thinking, or even much more like regret or second thoughts or second guessing than is actually there. So like I said, these readings have been very interesting. It's been fun for me as a reader in some ways, but it's also like these readings are super intense because often this comes up. I do feel like for the people listening to me, you have your suspicions about this. I don't feel a lot of energy from the people who will eventually watch this in terms of being shocked or surprised by this. I think that this likely will be confirmation for you that a lot of what they present in terms of, oh, it's so hard, it's so challenging, and I'm so unsure, and I have, I've thought about this, and I'm wondering if I was wrong, and that's just there as a way of preventing people from getting angry with them or upset with them or labeling them as being cold or unfeeling. I don't actually think that this person is cold or unfeeling. They're just very certain in their decisions. But there is a bit of a show that they put forward to make it seem like it was a bigger deal than it actually was. Hey there, it's Keaghan, and I am jumping in here in the middle of the reading just to let you know that I've decided to offer a special on readings during the month of October 2020 only. I mean, I have limited spaces for this. After doing these readings, I decided that I feel like a lot of you are going to want to get more information or follow up on these readings. And I know that the world is weird and money is tight. And so I wanted to try to come up with a way that I could still offer personal readings and have them be affordable so that if you do have more questions or if you want to explore this a little bit more deeply with me in a personal reading, I might be able to make that happen. So as you can see on the screen, I'm offering 4 different levels. Is basically $1 a minute for a reading. You can do a 20-minute, 30-minute, 45, or 60-minute reading for me. If you're interested in this, you should send me an email, keaghantarot@gmail.com. You can see how my name is spelled there, so keaghantarot@gmail.com. Let me know which of the readings you want, and I'll send you an invoice, and then that will confirm your slot. And again, there will be limited spaces, so if you're interested in this, let me know as soon as possible. I will be posting all of these readings all at the same time, so everyone gets a fair shot at claiming their seat. And if I do run out of spaces, I will let people know that if I still get emails beyond what I have capacity to do during the month of October. I'm going to send you right back into the reading now. Let's take a look at what's going on in their mind, because I feel this person is very mental. So in this person's mind, what they are focused on is very interesting because they have the Queen of Cups upright and then the 6 of Pentacles, which is also upright. This represents someone who is thinking about manifesting a connection that is like a very, very healthy connection. Their focus is on something where it's a very equal give and take. What they put in is reciprocated back to them. They want to be able to do the same in return for the person that they're with. This Queen of Cups, I feel like, interestingly, is both how they want to be as well as what they're looking for in a potential partner. So the Queen of Cups is a very nurturing, supportive, emotionally balanced type of energy. There's a lot of patience here. This would be someone who is very much in touch with being able to, it's an empathic type of energy. So they're really able to understand people. They want to understand where people are coming from, and they're seeking that same thing from a partner. I feel like with this insight into this person, it's kind of like they know what they want. In their mind, they know what they want in terms of a connection, a romantic connection with someone. And that is unwavering for them. And that is what actually allows them to have this certainty, because they are very tuned in to when things seem like it's not this. And it's a deal breaker for them. It's a situation in which, as soon as they see a situation where the person doesn't, they're overly emotional, or they are, codependent in some way, or they're not willing to commit, or they take more than they give back, or the relationship seems to be lopsided, as soon as they see any of those red flags or warnings, they check out. But I think this now makes a bit more sense, because they don't just say, you know what, this isn't working, I'm done, I'm out. Because when they've done that in the past, they've really gotten a lot of, negative response to it. So they make it seem like ending things is much harder for them. But as if you're in a relationship with this person, like you can tell when it's like, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's shocking, because they don't do that great of a job of the show. They don't do that good of a job of the pretending. But it really does come from a place of, they know what they want, and they aren't going to settle for anything that is less than that. Okay, let's see what's going on in their heart. Seven of Cups here, which has come out upright. Yeah, this is a situation in which, in their heart, okay, so this is what's going on in their mind, certainty. In their heart, it's not that clear. Okay, so the Seven of Cups is a place of having lots of choices, potentially too many choices. It's a place of being very hopeful about opportunities, being very optimistic about things. It's possible with this person, what happens to them is, initially when they meet someone, their heart is really what takes over. So in their heart, they're very open, they're very receptive. They see lots of potential in tons of people. But when they get into their mind about it, and they start to evaluate with their mind, and remember I said here, I feel like this person cuts their heart out of the decision-making process, and they think very much about things mentally. They look at things from a mental point of view. So initially this person meets someone, and they're very open, they're very receptive, they see tons of possibility, tons of potential. And then as they actually start to engage with the person, their mind activates, and they are very strict in terms of how they evaluate the potential connection. If they start to see anything that deviates mentally, they make a decision, but they put on a show in terms of how they're acting. Okay, so hopefully you're tracking with this, because their heart, dealing with this person, you would initially feel like this instant attraction, like they're very interested, they're very engaged, they go full in on the situation. But then once they get into their head about it, and their heart, they cut the heart part of it out. Right? So it becomes this very mental checklist of, do I see this? Do I see this? Is this showing up? And anything that's on their red flag list, as soon as they see that, they just make the decision that this is not the right relationship. But they do drag it out a little bit and make it seem like they aren't checked out. But I don't think they do a good job of it. Okay? In this person's future. So a bit of more of the same. So we have the Six of Wands here, and then the Eight of Wands, both of them coming out upright. I want to talk about this Six of Wands first. So in this person's future, it's like, to them, this approach has worked. They feel like what they are doing has led them to a place where they've been successful in dodging what they perceive to be potential threats in terms of relationships. This person is very guarded when it comes to their heart. And maybe we'll see where that comes from. The Six of Wands coupled with this Eight of Wands is it's just telling me that, like, that quick change, moving away, cutting out, turning off the heart. That just continues, because that's what this energy feels like to me. This Eight of Wands is exactly the type of vibe that I'm picking up from them, where as soon as they get any sort of red flag, they make the decision to go. And they feel like that has always served them well. Now, what I will say about this person is, I don't necessarily yet have insight into whether they're accurate. To them, they are, right? But what I will say is that, if you're in a relationship with someone and at the first sign of trouble, you see that as a reason to do this, right? To just suddenly change course and move away from where you've been, and to do it take action very quickly, then yes, potentially you are sparing yourself from getting hurt, but you could also be walking away from something that has a lot of potential, but just requires a little bit of communication and finesse and working with the other person, and figuring out how you can actually make something work, right? So I don't see and I don't feel insight into whether or not this person is truly having the success that they think they do. But what really matters is that to them, they do think that this is an approach that has worked, and it's something that they plan to continue with moving into the future. Let's see what's going on here, because I think I put 3 cards down in terms of secret, and I do see how this person could be a little bit secretive. So we're going to see what these are. So you have the Four of Cups upright, you have the Queen of Pentacles, which is upright, and then you have the Fool card, which is reversed. And we'll talk about the Fool card last, because I want to talk about these 2 cards. So, in terms of a secret, the Queen of Pentacles is an energy of someone who is, like they want to be in a committed connection. The Queen of Pentacles is very closely associated with like mother energy, wife energy. Don't get too hung up on the energy or the gender, because it's just someone who wants to have that domesticated sort of connection, a long-term stable connection with one person. I don't think that this person presents that way. I don't think that they're very honest that that's something that they truly want, that that's something that they're actually looking for. Again, because like in their mind, you had the Queen of Cups, you had this Six of Pentacles, but that's very much in their mind. And I feel like what's going on in their mind is very guarded, because they aren't acting the way that they truly are. They aren't showing how they truly think. So this makes sense that these would be here in terms of a secret. The Four of Cups is really about being in a place where you've turned inward to contemplate things, because you're realizing that you're unsatisfied with something, that you are in a place where there's something that isn't fulfilling you in the way that you wish it would. And it's specific to this trying to find a partner. It's very interesting to me also that you have this Fool card coming out, because this is about not being willing to take the risk, not being willing to jump, being really in a place where you don't feel prepared to pull the trigger on something, and you're not willing to just take the risk, right? So secretively, this person really does want to have a connection, and they realize that what they've been having with people hasn't felt like what they wanted. It hasn't felt like this. And I think there is a certain level of frustration with them at this point, because they keep meeting people, and every time they meet people, there's this hope and there's this openness. And then for them, their experience of it is, and then something goes wrong. But I still feel a little bit of hesitation here with this person, because I think that they might be shooting themselves in the foot. Like they are giving up on things potentially a little bit too quickly. It's one thing to have learned lessons and to be able to look at things and say, if someone's unable to communicate their emotions, that's a deal breaker for me, because I need to be able to talk about my emotions, and I need to know where I stand with someone emotionally. That's healthy, right? But if the person instead is saying like, oh my gosh, that conversation felt really tense, so I'm out. Like, that's not healthy. I hope that that makes sense in terms of explaining what I'm getting from this person. They really hide the fact that they're dissatisfied and they're unhappy with the fact that they can't make something work. But I don't think that they're aware that they might be the potential issue, that they might be the person who is causing that conflict. So I want to say here before we look at these last two things, if you're listening to this and you do know this person's sun sign, I'd really recommend for you guys in particular, go watch the video for their sun sign, because I think you're going to need a little bit more insight than what I'm going to get just from this alone. Mostly because this person is very guarded in terms of everything, right? So they're not open about what they really want, right? Their mental thing is they hide their thoughts a lot. Their heart gets shut down very quickly once they're engaged with someone. So you don't really have access into like what's going on with them in terms of their emotions and their feelings. And they themselves don't really understand why they're having such a problem manifesting what it is that they want. So there's lots of confusion and there's lots of like conflict with this person internally that's showing up in this particular reading. So if you do know their sun sign, you can probably get a little bit more insight and clarity into that by going to watch it. Let's see what's going on in terms of their plan. So you have the Knight of Pentacles coming out here reversed. This is, you know, the Knight of Pentacles, when it's reversed, is a very kind of stubborn, digging their heels in sort of energy. There's a certain amount of... I don't want to say liar because it's not that intense, but someone who will bend the truth or hide things. It's just not being fully honest, not disclosing fully the truth. It's not misleading or deceptive, though, like a full-out lie. It's just being very guarded. Again, this person just, they can't actually express what it is that they want. They don't express what it is that they want. And they don't have any plans to change that. Okay. Their goal. What is their goal? Seven of Pentacles is the first card I want to talk about here. It came out upright. The goal for this person really is... they feel like if they just keep plugging away at it, if they just keep trying, that ultimately at some point they will find what it is that they're looking for. But it's come out with the Wheel of Fortune, which is reversed. And it's kind of, I've already talked about this in a way in terms of what's happening with this person. So they aren't aware that they are actually the ones that they are the one that's they're keeping themselves stuck. They're keeping themselves in a cycle of jumping out of relationships before they actually give them a chance. And it stems from the fact that once they're in the relationship, they no longer feel like they have full control over it. I feel like they actually start to look for things that signal to them that it's something that's bad or something that could potentially be damaging to them in some ways, and it keeps them repeating a cycle. So their goal of like, I'm going to keep trying and trying and trying and trying and trying, and I'm going to be open and open and open. That doesn't work because they can't see that they are actually in their own way and jumping out of relationships way too quickly at the first sign of trouble. So I'm gonna shuffle this oracle deck a little bit. I do want to get an oracle card for you. I'm gonna say what I've said in most of these readings to you as well. No judgment for this person from me, right? Because we all are where we're at. We're all dealing with, what we can. We understand ourselves as much as we can in the moment. If we were capable of understanding ourselves better or seeing things differently, I believe that we would. I believe that, if we have that ability, I like to think that most people would want to solve this problem. I do feel frustration from this person that they try and they try and they try and they open their heart up so many times, but it ultimately ends up not working out. I do feel a lot of protective energy because, like I said at the very beginning, they have gotten a lot of negative feedback and they've had a lot of bad experiences because of the fact that they make these decisions and are very rigid with them. But I don't think that this person is yet aware enough of themselves to understand that, there's a difference between seeing something that's a truly toxic behavior or a toxic aspect of a relationship and choosing to disengage from it versus getting spooked every time something comes up that's really just an aspect of being in a relationship. It's like the actual work of being in a relationship freaks this person out, and then they pull away and then they try again. It's like this would be someone who, like, they've watched Disney movies and romantic movies, and they think that fairy tale happily ever after is the thing that is real in life, and that's not the reality of relationships. Relationships are challenging and they take work, and you have ups and downs, and a lot of what makes relationships last is the willingness of the people involved in them to work on things. And again, I'm not saying you should stay in something that's truly toxic. If something is abusive, if something is draining you and taking the joy out of life, then you should evaluate that relationship. But in terms of communication stresses or life stresses or the ups and downs of life, or just trying to navigate getting to know someone and being willing to open up and let that person enter into your life on some level, that's just normal relationship stuff. But that's the stuff that freaks this person out and makes them jump ship. So let's get an oracle card for you, Pisces. I'm going to do one more. So you have I am the dreamer of my dream. I'll talk to you about what I think that card means for you. But I want to get one more, actually. There we go. Okay. We'll start with this one. So it says, my happiness is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe. And then you have, I am the dreamer of my dream. So let's talk about what that means to me, and then we will wrap this reading up. So Pisces, I think what's really important here is that you have to become very clear for yourself about what it is that you want. Again, like I'm saying, no judgment on this person, but they need a certain level of self-awareness that I don't think can come externally. It's not something that someone else can point out to them. It's not something that someone can help them learn. They just have to get to the point where they realize the role that they are playing in their own life. So for you, if you're dealing with this person, you need to prioritize yourself. You need to think about what it is that you want and what you want to manifest and the type of partner that you want to bring forward. Is this the type of partner that you truly want? Right? Again, not saying that this person can't have a point where they become self-aware, but again, we looked at the future and it's just more of the same for them in the future. So I don't see that being something that happens soon. Your happiness is really dependent upon how much you can trust the universe. So when you get clear about what it is that you want, the type of person that you want, and you say to the universe, here's what I want, please bring this person to me, you have to sort of let it go at that point and have faith that the universe will bring that person forward, as long as bringing forth that person or that type of person is what's truly good for you. And your ability to have faith in that is what really is, that's the hinge point always about how happy we can be, right? We can only be as happy as we believe that we can be. In terms of this person, I just want to say they still have some baking to do. They have some development to do. They have some growth and self-awareness to do. And that's not necessarily something I see happening for them in the near future. So take that as you will in terms of making decisions about whether or not you want to pursue anything with this person or to continue to engage with this person. Okay, I'm ultimately not going to make those decisions for you. I'm just here to provide you some insight and clarity into what's going on with this person, or to give you confirmation about things that you've already considered. So Pisces, I hope that you guys are doing well. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. Please take a moment to leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought. And I will see you guys again soon with more readings, probably not focused on the other person. I will probably go back to focusing just on you and talking directly to you about yourself. But I will be listening to feedback on these readings, and if overwhelmingly people want me to do more of these, then I will do them more often at least. So I love you, Pisces. Take care of yourself. I'll see you soon.